Hey there, change agents. It's Courtney and Lena from Kynection. Our series, Meets Dogbert, is the oasis in the desert for business leaders thirsty for a lift in the dry conversation of quality, health, safety, and environment. Are you asleep yet? Hope not, because in every episode, we will explore the parody of the Dilbert comics by Scott Adam against the backdrop of Industry X or Industry 4.0. We will cover many topics from compliance audits to advances in BizTech with a focus on our digital backbone, the one system as we call it. Let's drink. Okay, so Scott Adams, he has a lot to answer for because he places a very funny parody around business and the way in which we engage as individuals in our business. Looking at Meets Dogbert, we identified that was a good starting point. And the reason why is because it's all about the future, setting up something for the future. And if we could predict the future, well, you and I wouldn't be sitting here, of course. We'd be sitting on a beach after winning Tats Lotto. But in planning, you can improve the likelihood of the outcomes for your future. And that's the context of today's conversation, amongst many, as we explore the Dilbert Series and we bring some analogy back towards business and technology against the satire of a bit of humour. So today we're going to focus on the future. We're going to focus on planning, and we're going to talk about how that links into the context or organisational context when we talk about dull things like ISO 9001 and AS 4501, etc. So let's focus now on organisational context and how it relates to the planning piece and the improvements around your business from the start. Over to you, Lena.
Sure. So one of the key things to consider for planning your future is understanding your risks and opportunities and creating an inclusive culture, which means that everyone in the business is included and engaged and feels free and welcome to bring different ideas for improvement in every area of the business. So that also helps in change management when everyone feels included and they all involved with the process. They are able to contribute to the organization with moving forward to the future in a more organized way.
Yeah, great. And when you talk about ISO 9001, one of the key elements of the planning piece is Clause 6. And Clause 6 covers a lot of elements, but the main ones are around who you are, why you exist, etc. Can you explore that a little bit for us and the audience, Lena?
Yes. So Clause 6 basically talks about planning. It complements Clause 4, context of the organization, and Clause 5, which is leadership. And Clause 6 talks about exactly what we mentioned before, which is the risks and opportunities, management of change, documentation of how different things will be planned, how different things will be managed.
Yep.
And creating an action plan for how to manage different risks, how to take action on different opportunities, and how to continuously improve the organizational flow.
Yeah, building your strategic house, adding goals and objectives, all those sorts of fun things that business owners love to set at the front end, but when written down should form the context of how your business will operate in the first days of operation right through how it's going to operate in 5 to 10 years.
Yes, effective objective setting is a key part of Clause 6. Yes.
So in linking that back to what we're about, and we're a bit of an interesting organisation Kynection in that we wear a couple of hats in our own right, a bit like our friend Scott Adam did in his day-to-day life, writing Dilbert and being a business consultant, etc. We're a technology house at heart, but we've identified how important it is to understand business process procedures and the delivery of those. And so we're going to take you on a little bit of a journey into this episode about technology, where we see industry heading and why we see this as a really important fit for business. And then we're going to finish off with some simple conversations around how that technology may work for you. Thank you. And into the next session. So in this upcoming couple of slides, we're going to talk about the concept of the digital backbone, and that's building a framework that bolsters, enhances improves the planning and strategic elements of your business. They say that, culture eats strategy for breakfast, and we know that to be the case. I'd say that technology and culture combined dominate strategy, and with a little bit of strategy sprinkled in, you can't go wrong. So after that, we kick off a case study, as we talked about, and then we're going to step into some innovation conversation and why innovation is so critical in the businesses in which we operate. So here we are in the Starbucks case study, which is our icon business that we think is worth exploring and discussing. Look, I would love them to be a customer of ours, Lena. Unfortunately, they're not. But we think in the relationship in respect to organisational context, one of the more drier components of a business, but also one of the most important parts of the business, the Starbucks is a great representation of that. We're talking a little bit about organisational context in relation to Starbucks and how that took them from a one coffee shop environment to, 30,000 or so. Over to you, Lena.
So the Starbucks objectives and the Starbucks strategy is actually very, very fascinating, because they saw from the very, very first days that they need to focus on why they do things. And through why they do things, they actually outlined who their interested parties are. So they understood their interested parties are the community, their interested parties are their friends, their family. And they decided to make the best coffee, to enjoy this coffee with their friends and with the community. And that was basically their why. They wanted to improve the community through good quality coffee, one step at a time.
Which is a great way to start, right? It's a very simple way to look at something, get that bit right, and then once you get it right, the scale can basically be replicated. I'd also suggest that in their rollout that some technology was deployed that made the whole of the structure better in terms of delivery, POS, and those sorts of things. But for this case study in point and the one you've identified today, Lena, certainly their why was one of the reasons why they're so successful. You go on to talk about that a little bit in some content that we're putting together at the moment. Could you explain what we're going to pass that out?
Yes. So we have created a series of articles called Inspirational Sides of ISO, and they explain the ISO standards through the success stories of different industry leaders, different iconic businesses.
Yep. Some Australian ones too.
And some of our customers too.
Yeah, there you go. So Starbucks will close with, they were an inspired, passion-driven strategy supported by the culture and technology. And if you do that, you'll always win the race. Thanks for that bit, Lena. Okay, so a good case study. We've talked about organisational context. We've talked about planning and strategy and the importance of those elements in defining a great business. But what will really define a good business in our minds, being a technology company at heart, is innovation. And innovation centres around design-led thinking, using all of those aspects that you have available in your reach to achieve the most effective outcome. And for technology, in a small to medium business, it can be a swathe of spaghetti, multiple apps linking in with Xero, or it can be lots of paperwork. But at the core, design the process, plan your business model, and then implement those systemizations, those automations to make it easier. And one case in point here is a little bit of a Zen statement that we've had a bit of a giggle putting together, which was, before Enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And in the Zen statement, it's after Enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Now, I'd suggest that was when you could only chop wood and carry water. So in today's world, we would think of that task after Enlightenment being use Airtasker or something like that, for God's sake. So we had a giggle about that. The linkages to the conversation that we think is important around innovation is validated and backed up by many large consulting houses in Australia and globally. Our friends over at Accenture, CEO Julie Sweet, states absolutely categorically that they predicted that digital would ultimately be applied at scale to the core of a company's business globally. Every business will need to build this digital backbone. And in our business, we use a system called Kim. And in that system covers off what we like to think of is all of those creative elements and operational elements to the right of accounting. Okay, so pathways have been explored, technologies at a high level have been discussed. We felt that it's very appropriate, being the company that wants to be the one system for business out there in the small to medium market. We'd just explore a couple of the elements that we offer the marketplace. So let's focus in a little bit on this conversation around our application, Kim, and what one system delivers in your mind as a quality and safety person who's come from paper and pen and probably didn't like the idea of making everything automated. What are some of the things we've got around HR, around planning and the like in our platform that can help?
Yeah, well, I really, really love this difference. It makes a huge difference and it saves a lot of time. The key benefits for me as someone who came from paper to glass is I don't have to interpret anyone's handwriting. I don't have to chase anyone to complete paperwork. I don't have to store paperwork in folders anymore. I don't have to do any of this. And all the idea of monitoring and measurement and continuous improvement, when you have digital data, it makes everything so much easier. And people don't miss out important fields anymore, and they don't miss anything that needs to be done because everything is based on forced workflows.
Yeah.
So all the reporting is done straight away. There's no delays. You can literally do many things in Kim that you would have otherwise had to do in paper. So all your ITPs, all your SWIMs, all your risk assessments, all your timesheets, all your payroll, your equipment management, your inventory, literally anything that needs to be done in your business can be done from your mobile phone.
Which is insane. And so to top that off, in regards to the conversation we're speaking about, we have a great little HR application that sits inside our one system. It covers everything off from front-end inductions all the way through to onboarding and review, and that all integrates with payroll and EBAs and the like.
The beautiful thing about it is that it's role-based, and you can decide what people are going to see when they're being inducted in your company. It will take you exactly through all of the forms, all of the articles, all of the tasks and training that they will have to complete. Any PPE, anything. Absolutely.
And so the only other thing that comes to mind is knowledge base. Because we're in planning, knowledge base provides a groundwork, I'll call it substrate, for getting your organisation into the right shape. Talk a little bit about knowledge base and we'll close out for the listeners.
Yeah, so our knowledge base is manual. If you think about all your safety manuals, your environmental manuals, your quality manuals, your compliance manuals, you now don't need any of this because knowledge base provides flow charts and it provides information that's centered in one place for all your quality, safety, environmental, and otherwise policies and procedures.
So risk planning, registers, and all of those sorts of things sit in one simple location, role-based, easy to access, easy to manage to, and you can build all of your processes in to an exception-based model.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a good plan to go the one system approach or the digital backbone to move leaner. So creating one system is the sum of the parts so that the whole is improved in our mind. Kynection takes and provides the digital backbone of your business. We thank you for your time today, and we will close out with a thanks to our partners and to our friend Scott Adams. Thank you.
Special thanks to our clients and partners for contributing to our knowledge as we continually improve Kim, our one system, built for Industry X. Additionally, we would like to give thanks for the inspiration of this series to Scott Adams, who brought to light the most frustrating aspects of business in his Dilbert Series. Scott wore many hats and jobs while creating the Dilbert comic series. Dilbert was first launched in 1989 and now appears in 2,000 newspapers in 57 countries and 19 languages.